Hey folks, welcome back to Good Enough Customs. So today it's gonna be a little quick. This week is just completely blown up on me. I'm sorry guys, it's been happening a lot here recently. Between I'm a single dad, I got a full-time job. Sometimes just nothing works. So this week had a nice little bout of pancreatitis with my big dumb dog Archer. So if you're not sure what that is, I'm not going to describe it because it's pretty freaking disgusting. Let's just say there's lots of smells and cleanup involved. It is freaking terrible. But if you look that one up, you'll see what I've been dealing with for the last few days. Wow. Anyways, don't worry, Archer's doing fine. He's come around pretty good. He went from basically they wanted to hospitalize him, and I'm like, you want how much to fix my dog to me bringing him home and just taking care of him here at the house. And then now he's up and almost back. I'd say he's probably like 70%. So he's not doing crazy Archer things right now, but he's getting there. He's working up to it. So anyways, he's good. But anyhow, so today's video, I think what we're going to do is try to keep it quick, because usually Saturdays are my day for getting out and doing the filming. I could put in a good 12-14 hour day on a Saturday. Today's Sunday, which is usually the day that I do editing and getting everything ready to go to get uploaded. So I think it's 9 o'clock ish Sunday morning. Yesterday was still a little rough with the dog, because I'm having to feed him chicken and rice and make sure he takes his medicine and all this other mess. So yesterday was kind of a bust, but today, man, he's doing great. So I'm like, all right, you got this, buddy. So I'm just gonna leave him in the house for a little while, and then figure I can come out here and try to get something done. So we're gonna make this one fairly quick, but I still want to be productive. So what I've got is I got the old drive shaft tunnel piece that I need to make, and I can't pick it up for some reason. So I got this little template that I made, that fits right over top of this guy. Fits pretty good actually. But I think I may have made it just a shade too narrow. So I think what I'm gonna do is when I go to cut this out and trace this out, I'm gonna just add, pretty much I'm just gonna take my Sharpie and just run down, trace it out like you normally would. But I think I'm gonna put maybe a little bit of an angle and then cut on the outside edge of that Sharpie, which should give me about a 1/4 inch on each side. So it'll give me about a 1/2 inch extra to play with, because it's easier to take material off than just to put material on. So once I get that guy cut out and ready to go, then I'll come in here and kind of straighten, this guy's bent up to piece, just bent up to crap. So get him straightened up. Go ahead and see what I need to do about bending these in, because I may need to fold in just a little bit on each side in order to get that thing. And then we'll take that piece of metal and figure out how to get a curve in it, just a small curve. I don't have metalworking tools in the normal sense. There is no English wheel. I don't do all that crap. So we're gonna find something around here. Actually, I think I see something, but we're gonna find something around here to use to kind of form that piece of metal. I hadn't even thought that far ahead, so we'll figure something out here in just a little bit. So I gotta get everything set up, and we're gonna be using this piece metal. It's actually a panel from a panel van. It was a 1-ton, I think it was a 2000 model Chevy 1-ton van, and this is one of the panels out of it that I cut out of it, because that's where I got the motor. That's where I got the motor for Steve, which is a Vortec 350 motor, which I think was the last year they put the Vortec 350 in it. I think the next year is when they went to the LS. It might have been second to last year. I don't remember. Anyways, so I got a nice, low mile Vortec 350 for Steve out of that van, which was amazing. And then I also got a good 4L80, which is just sitting over in the corner of shame over there. Haven't figured out what I'm going to do with that 4L80 yet. It might make its way into Steve. It might make its way into Big John. I don't know just yet, but I'll figure that out eventually. So anyways, I got to set up a little spot so I can get this guy laid out. Big area for me to lay him out, which I have some over in there. You can kind of see him collapse down sawhorses. so I can get that guy set up, get everything traced out, get it cut out, and get it ready to go. So I will catch up with y'all guys here in just a minute. All right, folks, so I got this all set up on the old sawhorses over here. It's a little bit too big for my workbench, mainly because, you know, I just got crap sitting everywhere. But this will work just fine for what we're doing. The really nice thing about this panel off of a panel van is it's already got just a slight little curvature to it. There we go. So it's already got a little bit of a curvature to it. So what I'm probably going to do, or what I think I'm going to do, is just go ahead and utilize that curvature and take this piece kind of out of the middle, because that's where it's going to be the biggest bow area. That'll kind of get us, go ahead and, you know, get us started on what we need to do here. Can't bring it all the way to the end because it has this little channel. So I'm going to cut, you know, basically right in here. So I got to wipe this guy down a little bit, and then I can mark this off, and then get out the death wheel and get her cut up. So we'll catch back up here in a second. So we're going to use this very front edge of this little rolled lip here. That's going to be my starting point. So I'm going to go ahead and get that laid out. And then, like I said, I wanted to add a little bit of width to it. So I'm just going to use my Sharpie and kind of do that somehow. Actually, I know how. So if you take your Sharpie and you just roll that edge with it, if you roll this side of it up against your template, that should give you, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch. Something like that. It'll give you a little bit extra. So basic shape is traced, ready to go. Now comes the fun part, because I don't want to cut my sawhorses up. So find you something a little heavy. And I got all sorts of crap just laying around here in the shop. So got an old brake caliper from Big John. I say old, it's actually a new brake caliper, but it wasn't working right. So Rock Auto wanted me to ship it back to them, but I was like, I ain't paying, what, $50 to ship back the thing? And yeah, anyways, it's scrap metal now. All right, guys, really quick, just, you know, safety. We don't want to die. So anytime you're using a grinder, especially with one of these little thin cutoff wheels, I've seen a lot of guys that take these safeties, you know, these shields off. Don't do that, because this is the only thing between you and that piece of metal, or this cutting wheel. So if you take that guy off and this thing just happens to, you know, you catch something and it pops the edge off of it, gets out of balance, and then it explodes. This offers a little bit of safety here. Not to mention, you know, safety glasses, earplugs for your ears, or ear muffs. I don't have any muffs, but yeah, don't take this thing off. A lot of people use gloves. I don't. I probably ought to, because sometimes with these cutting wheels, you get little bits of fiberglass all on your fingers, and it really sucks for a day or two. But yeah, so yeah, don't take this thing off. That's just wanting something bad to happen. And you know, you can take this guy, don't rotate this guy when it's running either. But you can adjust this guy to where, you know, it's facing you, so you can cut and keep, one, the sparks from hitting you, and two, in case this thing explodes, you don't catch a direct hit from a piece of these, because, man, it'll mess you up. So yeah, don't ever adjust this guy whenever it's running. I learned that the hard way, and I think it was this thumb. I don't remember. It was a thumb or something, but I went and adjusted it. It was slowing down. I turned it off, but it hadn't stopped yet, and I went to adjust it, and I think it was my thumb, and I did like that, and yeah, it hurt. Don't do that. Anyhow, here we go. just a little bit bigger than the actual template. So that's exactly what I was shooting for. So it's hard to be surgical with, you know, grinding wheel, cutting wheel. So you can see right here, I just basically cut a straight shot. Same thing here. I'll take and just form that with the flat disc. Plus I got to clean all these edges up. So, you know, keep the metal slivers and cuts to the finger at a minimum. So I'm going to get on that here in just a second. Gotta love that GM white paint. Stuff does not stick for nothing. So, yep, she's peeling right up. That's okay. We're not too terribly worried about all that. It's a floor. So, let me hit that really quick. Yeah. Pretty much all the sharp edges are gone. Except for some of the metal that's now embedded in my t-shirt. But that'll be our starting point right there. Alright, so there's not much of a curve to that. But there's a little bit. So we can take and start working this thing and see about putting a bend in it. And I was eyeballing over here some 3-inch exhaust. See if I can't get that in the frame. So I picked this up a while back. I picked this guy up a little while back because I was going to put take exhaust on, I don't remember which truck it was. I think it was Big John. I was going to cut this guy in half and then make my arch to make this thing go over the rear axle, so I could dump the exhaust out the back of the truck instead of just stopping in front of the rear axle. Mainly because in Big John I didn't want it to be loud since it's kind of a cruiser. But ended up, it's such a long truck, it didn't matter. so I've got these. They're just kind of here. So since I've got a nice little arch right here, I can just take this guy, set him in the middle, and just kind of give him a couple little bends and work my way down. So we've got a little bit of a bend to it now, a little more of a curve. Probably need something a little wider than this to actually make a nice even bend, but we'll take it on over on the side here, so we're not just bending in the middle, make it look like a teepee. So now we've got a nice little curve going. So we'll do the same thing here. So now you can see why I cut them, I shaved those edges down, because this would have sliced my hands all to pieces. Now we got a pretty decent thing. I got a few little knots in here. I don't know if they show up on camera, but you can see, because this is basically, it's not flat across the top. May have been better had I laid this down and done it, but since I'm hitting just basically one point right here, it's giving me a little dimples here. I can knock those down with the body hammer. But again, it's a floor. Who cares? So we're gonna go check this and see what she looks like. So that's getting us pretty doggone close. Now we still got a little more to do on these outside edges. So we'll bend them guys down just a little bit more. But I think we're pretty close. little bit better. Let's see what she looks like. I think that may work. This may sit down just a little bit in the rear, but I'm okay with that. So that's got us pretty close. So what may end up doing is basically setting this guy on like this side, getting him tacked in. I may have to grind a little bit off this corner. Go ahead and get him tacked in. Just a couple tacks. Make him sit nice and level. And then come back and go ahead and tack this side down, to, bend this side on down over here, and then try to get him tacked down. That way I have my general shape. And I'm gonna have to trim a little bit off of this side over here, it looks like. So I can get that done like that. Knock a little off this corner. That'll set this side in a little bit. And then I can set that back down. I'll still have to trim this front edge a little bit. It's a little tight up front. Yep, knock this down just a little bit right here. That'll let this thing sit and close that gap up a little bit. So once that gap closes up, of course that gap may be part of this. So I need to shave this front edge down just a smidge. I think. It's such a complex bunch of turns and curves right there. So we're just going to take a little bit off right here. And I'm going to shave that front edge down just a smidge. Now, let's see, fit a little bit better. Okay, so this edge, grab some more of my metalworking tools. So we have a little bit of a gap there, so that works out good. I think what I'm going to do is on this edge, I'm going to take that and just bend it up a little bit. See if that allows me to sit down where I need to be. Get a little closer. Gotta come up a little more. Go. Yeah, that works. I can live with that. Now the question is, can I get anything behind it? Oh yeah, look at there. Yeah, buddy. Much better. Good enough for government work, so to speak. So I think we'll get that about ready to go. I need to double check a couple things, but I'd say we're pretty close. Now the factory drive shaft tunnel definitely went a little bit. It had a taller arch to it. It came up, right up. I mean, it basically kissed the bottom of this guy. So I'm not too terribly worried about up travel on that drive shaft. And the main reason is it ain't gonna go any higher than this, but I've already got it tied up as high as it'll go. So I don't know if y'all can see. Nope, probably can't. But see, I've got it tied up. This is as high as this drive shaft goes. It's tied up flush with one of the rear cross members for the body back there. Just a couple zip ties just holding it up out of the way for us. But that's as high as she goes. So I'm not too worried about this thing being, you know, a big arc coming right through here. So, I mean, it could pretty much, to be honest, I could actually just do a flat piece and make my life a lot easier. But, yeah, no, why do that when you can suffer and struggle through trying to make, you know, curve piece of metal? So, plus I've never done this before, so, you know, it's learning experience. I'm all about learning some new stuff. Put that in the old knowledge toolbox, so to speak. Plus, aesthetically, you know, not that I'm really worried about aesthetics here, as you could already tell. But aesthetically, it'll be a little nicer to have some sort of arch in here. So I think that's going to get us pretty doggone close. I may need to knock a little bit off that back edge, or just, yeah, I think that's what I'll have to do, because it's wanting to walk a little crooked. Either that or I'll bring this back out. Huh. Yeah, why don't we do that? Get that piece. That's why it's not lining up, because this thing's bent all to pieces. Let's see if that looks a little bit better back here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, buddy. That is about right. I tell you what. That'll do her. Then I'll just have to bring this side up like that. Cool. All right, so I guess the next thing to do, I don't know what to do about this little spot. No, you can't see that. I'm not sure what to do about this little spot. I mean, I could go ahead and weld it up as is, you know, knock this on down flush to there, and then just make a little patch that fits in there. Or do I bend this guy in and then just fold him over to match? That may be the better way to go with it, is just to beat him into submission this way and then bring that down. That may be the better way to go. We'll try it. We'll see what it does. It may not like it. It may screw everything up. We'll see. I knocked something off over there. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. So then what I can do is just trim this edge down just a little bit, knock him on in a little bit, and then I can just fill the gap in with some weld, and she ought to be all right. So, yeah, I like that. I think we'll go with that. And actually, the really fun part is Other than just a little bit of overhang, some metal, you know, some beating around on some metal over here, and that side ought to slide right on in. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm gonna get this guy prepped and ready to go, so I can get, I guess, get ready to get him tacked in, and then I can make this back piece over here. Let's see, we're gonna need a piece that is 6 9/16. And yep, 6 9/16 across. And we're going to need to be, we'll just get him kind of set in place, and we'll figure to the lowest point. About 5 inches tall. So 6 9/16, 5 inches. Cool. Get that all laid out and cut out here in just a second. Now, I already know this thing ain't square, but it should get us good enough. I'll use this as the bottom edge, and we'll just mark out 5 inches from here. 5 inches from there, and 5 inches from there. Now we'll get a straight edge, and let's see if we can't make something fit. Okay. Yeah, we'll cut that out. That'll be a little longer than we need, but that'll be just fine. Oh, that is almost perfect. All right, so got it cut out. Oh, look at there. Got some nasty crap on it. Some of that adhesive, the bonding adhesive. That's what I was smelling. I was like, man, this really smells bad. That would explain it. So I guess I'm gonna get that crap off. Guess it's time for a torch and scraper. All right, so I just stuck it in the vise, held it in place with the C-clamp. I will tell you, that's a pretty terrible smell. Now what do we look like? And yeah, if it wasn't for that big old weld right there, I'd probably be able to fit it right on in there. Okay, cool. So that works, mostly. So, I should be able to take this guy and just trace that out and weld that up. So, I need a little bit more bow on that. I was just going to leave it, but it needed a little bit more bow to it. So what I did was basically just took it just off the camera and put it over my knee, you know, kind of like people used to do with their kids. Put them over the knee and just wore it out. So just took it over there, put it over my knee, and basically just bounced it, you know, while I was trying to pull on both sides, just get a little bit more arch. That seems to put me where I need to be. This side, it bowed up a little too much there, but whatever, I can beat the crap out of that with a hammer. And not something you need to do with your kids. That's getting into a whole different level now. But so anyhow, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, it's kind of ugly, but you know, whatever, I'm fine with it. I got this guy cut out. That should slide right on down in there. And she's a little snug, but that'll work for the most part. So I can slide that down in there, and that gives us our drive shaft tunnel. So I guess I'm going to take and finish cleaning up and go ahead and get this stuff kind of ready to, I guess, ready to start tacking in and make sure everything looks good. So we'll catch back up here in a few minutes. Alrighty, so took a break from the camera for a minute so I could get some stuff done quickly. So basically I went through with the little Rolox and just kind of hit all my corners and my sides, and you know, got down to fresh metal, and then took this piece, trying to get that glare out of there where you can actually see. I basically set this on there and traced out the arch to match up for here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this cut out, and then I can go ahead and get that tacked on to the back, and then that way that thing's ready to just kind of set in, and then I can get it all fitted up and start welding it in. Now the fun part is making it all stay still when I go to weld. That's gonna be fun. Got her tacked in. Now we get to go test fit it. Let's see how she fits. Of course, that back edge is a little warm. Bend her up a little bit. I kind of wish I had a hole in this floor pan so I could reach underneath. Maybe I'll cut an access hole. No. All right, now let's quit messing around. Get in there. What do you think? Think it'll do? I think it'll do. I think that's good enough for government work right there. Taking orders for drive shaft tunnels for K5 Blazers with completely rotted out tunnels beyond the transfer case. Yes. No, you couldn't pay me to do this. So, let's see, while I was off camera and cleaning up all the edges, I did do a little work on this other pan, just to see if it, if I can make it fit in a little bit tighter over there, and it's pretty close. I'll probably flare this backside of this floor pan, flare it back up a little bit more, and it'll meet up perfect. And it's That's about spot on. It's pretty damn close. I'm tickled with this. So yeah, I'll fight through this for a little bit more. So that's fitting in there pretty good. A little bit more massage and a little bit more work. Take a little bit more off this corner right here. Should get this side setting pretty flush. Yeah, just a smidge needs to come off of that. And then that'll probably set this side on down a little bit. That back piece is pretty lined up. It needs to work this way a little bit, but it's pretty close. And then over here on this other side, it's pretty daggone close too. So I'll monkey with this a little bit more. The unfortunate thing is, with it being Sunday, I'm running out of time. So I've been out here about 3 hours, and you know, 3 hours, been able to get this cut out, get it formed, get that back piece cut, you know, get it tacked up, get it ready to go, get everything cleaned up and mostly lined up inside the truck. Like I said, I still got to go. Still need to take. I probably need to pull these back that way a little bit. That way it'll sit a little bit more straight up, and that tunnel piece that I made should fit pretty snug up against that. And then I didn't even check to make sure that it's sitting on this. Whatever, I'll figure it out. So I'm gonna hot foot it on this guy. So I may not record quite as much as I usually do because it does slow the process down a little bit. But I'm gonna record. I'll probably just set it up and just let it run. And so you'll see me bouncing in and out of the truck a bunch. But I'm gonna try to get this knocked out to where it's at least tacked in today. It won't be finished welded or anything, but at least get it, you know, tacked in so it's ready to go. And then that'll probably do it for this week. So I'm gonna get to it and stop flapping my gums so that way, you know, I can get some work done. But we'll catch back up here in just a few minutes. So let's take this guy and just flare him up a little. All right, I love having a welder because now I can use these little guys to help direct this thing. Look at that. Look at that. All right. Yeah, so basically what I did was I just had a couple scrap pieces of metal, tacked them on there just so I have a way to grab this thing in the middle, because, you know, you can't grab it in the middle. So fix that. So that's awesome. Damn, that is... Dude, that thing is about spot on. I'm pretty close there. I may have to buzz this side down just a smidge. And I still gotta clean this little flap up, but that's great. All right, so we're going from here to there. I have to remind myself, those are still hot. Yeah, that works. I'll take that all day. And that's about where she needs to be. I got a little bit of a gap up here. Of course, why wouldn't I? But yeah, I think everything else will stitch up nicely. So let me go buzz this piece down, and then knock just a smidge off this back edge so it feels like it's overlapping ever so slightly. Now let's see what we got. Yeah, buddy. That's pretty doggone tight. Got a little bit of a piece of metal caught my finger. Hot. All right. Got a little bit of a twist on this guy. And I don't know if that's because I cut it crooked, probably. Or if it's just, got a little twist in it from the from welding and cutting and doing and all that fun stuff. So it's so hard to see over there. Of course I had to get up and move, put weight on this thing. Son of a biscuit. Yeah, I gotta take a little bit more off that edge. All right. You gonna fit, or you gonna throw a fit? Man. Yeah, buddy. I think that'll do her. I am satisfied with that. I need to zip that down just a touch. I think that'll get us a little bit. Yep. That'll do. Now the fun part is getting this stuff to hold still long enough for me to get her tucked in. God, that's a big gap. Dang it. We'll figure it out. Well, all right, folks. So here's what we got. So I'm gonna have to go up underneath the truck and bang this part right here. It's still hot from the last few welds. But I'm going to go up underneath the truck and right through here. I'm going to knock this up a little bit just to make that meet a little bit better. And then back over here, this piece right here, I need to bend back this way just to make that meet up. It's got a little bit of a lip there. So if I just bend that back, it'll meet right up. It'll be good to go. The passenger side, it's all good. I mean, it's where it needs to be. I haven't moved the truck out to where I usually do to work on it, mainly because I knew I wasn't gonna be out here very long. Went ahead and got a few more tacks in on this back piece here. And once I get all this kind of stitched in and over there done, and then, you know, up along this tunnel, once I get all that stitched in, then I'll probably go ahead and just drill a few holes on this guy, hold him back, and give him a couple plug welds. And then I'll probably go ahead and just run a stitch down here and then on that other side as well. That way this is just one big piece. So so that's all that's really left on this guy. But unfortunately, I'm flat out of time, guys. I wish I had a little bit more for you for this week. But I mean, really, 3.5-ish hours of work, got quite a bit done. You know, that tranny tunnel, drive shaft tunnel that I hadn't been stressing on it a whole lot, but I've been stressing on it a little bit because I was like, I've never made bends like that in metal, or dealing with all the little, you know, different curves and you know all that the weirdness that goes along with that. So you know, learning something new, giving it a shot, and I think it turned out okay. Again, I don't know if it meets up with that floor support for plug welds on that, but I'll figure it out. If it doesn't meet, I'll just beat a dent into it and make it meet, whatever. So anyways, I guess that'll do it. I you know, again, sorry, I wish I had a little bit more for y'all this week, but the whole deal with Archer was just, man, that was a rough few days right there. But you know, good news is he's feeling a lot better and acting more like himself every day. So good things going on there. So anyhow, if y'all guys you know, if y'all haven't liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. That helps out a bunch, gets that algorithm rolling, so that way it'll, you know, start kicking it out a little bit more, and more people will find the channel, and you know, hopefully more subscribers. That'd be great. And if you hadn't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that as well. You know, we just hit 500 a week and a half, I think, ago. So, you know, that's awesome. That actually opens up the community tab, so I can actually send some messages to the subscribers and let y'all guys know, you know, kind of what's going on. Just actually got that confirmation email yesterday or day before yesterday. Honestly, I can't remember. The whole deal with the dog is has been limiting the amount of sleep that I've been getting. So last night I think was the first solid night of sleep I've had since Wednesday, I think. So anyhow, I do appreciate y'all guys watching. It means a bunch. Hopefully y'all guys continue tuning in. Keep telling friends, families, neighbors, you know, whoever, random strangers on the street. Why not? Neighbor's dog, sure. Only if they talk to you, though. But anyhow, y'all guys just have a good one. Just remember, it ain't got to be perfect, just good enough. And we'll talk at y'all later. See ya. You feeling better, buddy? Yeah, he's feeling good. He's feeling much better.